Well, nothing's changed. It's still looking pretty grim out there. Matter of fact, it's getting worse and worse and worse. Having a lot of issues about inventory. We've had a lot of big questions about builders, how well they're doing. The builder stocks are doing pretty doggone well. But we're going to talk about that just a little bit here. Let me go to my very first slide. Let's just talk about what we see here in the marketplace. It's pretty interesting. As you know, we have a theme here that there's only two things that we're interested in doing. We're only interested in number one, making money, and number two, not losing money. And so, therefore, we have been on a housing moratorium since March of 2022. We're not putting any new capital, no new cash out. We've been very, very cautious. Remember, patience is what we've been talking about. You need to be patient because we are going to have a opportunity that comes to you only 3 times in your life. This is coming to you probably next 12 to 24 months, and we are all going to make a lot of money. But in the meantime, let's review what we're looking at right now. So nothing's changed. Liquidity still is terrible. It's just absolutely terrible. We're seeing the commercial banks and all the M2 money is really the worst it's been really ever. So we're looking at the second largest contraction, and that's really from when we had the 2008 financial crisis. I think we're looking for one very, very similar to that now. We're going to have something where we're all going to look back and go, holy cow, how come we couldn't see that? Well, you can see this. You can certainly see this because you can see the liquidity is just being sucked out of the economy. No liquidity. There is no fuel to do anything. And so when you start seeing the liquidity coming out and we start seeing coming out of the commercial banks, well, there's reasons for that. Let me go to my next slide here. So the yield curve is still bad. This hasn't gotten any better since July 5th of 2022. That's when it inverted. And it's just going down from there. It's still a pretty steep inversion. You have to go back to the mid 80s to see that. That's when Volcker was stepping on the brakes so hard that the economy just came to a sudden halt. And I think we're going to come to that too. We also don't realize that we're in these problems, still really into them. I think we're having it in right now. Our timing model is as red as you can possibly get. And we're very, very concerned about it. So let me go to my next slide. We just talk about that. We're seeing that the lenders are tightening into recession. Not only are they tightening, but the underwriting standards are just getting out of this world. There's no money left for business and industrial loans. You're not going to get any office and loans. You're not going to get any industrial loans. We're seeing the projects are certainly slowing down. This is why we want to talk about the builders, because the builders have land banks. We're going to talk about their land banks today, and of course, land banks are 2 and 3 and 4 years in advance, because it does take a long time to bring these properties to market, and all these costs start accruing into it. So, if they borrow $10 million to buy land, they're going to have to put in the streets and the sewers and the water and the electric and the power, and they're going to bring in cable and internet and all this, and it all takes time. It all takes money to get this done. You need engineering, you get permits, and it takes a long time. So if you borrow $10 million at 3.5% or 4%, well, your land bank is going to start costing you some serious money when interest rates go up as quickly as they've gone up here. So now the builders are paying anywhere from 8 to 12.5% for their land bank, because I'm going to tell you, the lenders do not like builders when the economy starts to soften, and the builders are scared to death. They need to get out of these land banks. That's what took them down last time. It wasn't the fact that they had too many houses around. They had too much land around. The land doesn't bring any income in. So builders build out of their land banks. That's how they get out of their land. They build their way out. So they're willing to do anything to build their way out of their land. So let me just go back. There's no signs of recession not coming. There's not going to be a soft landing. It's not going to be, we're past the soft landing. That's not going to happen. We're going to have a really, really, really hard landing. Everything that we're looking at, even these small ones, when we're starting to talk about temporary jobs, it has never missed a recession. Never missed. Never said a recession was coming when it wasn't. And you can understand why, because temporary jobs, that's for overtime, when you need someone to come in and fill in. Well, there isn't any of that demand. That's all gone away. There's no more overtime where, everybody's coming in for their jobs because they're concerned that they won't get a good job. So when temporary job recession indicator starts going off, you know that recession is coming around the line. And you know that my timing model says third quarter 2023. And what are we in now? We're in the third quarter of 2023. So that doesn't mean it's going to roll over, but it means it's not going to continue. And that's where we're at. These indicators are not very good. Now, I want you to look at this. Let me open this up a little bit. So this is our rates from July at 2027. Bank rate 7.75%. Look at this. Just got this like a couple days ago. It's already up to 7.5%. I'm going to tell you, I got this yesterday. And today, I'm heard that some people are asking 8% mortgage and a 740 credit score. 8%. And that is how fast this is going. And, everybody buys payments. They absolutely all buy payments. So if they've got $2,000 or $2,500 a month to spend, how much of a house can I buy for that? As the interest rates go down, the prices come down. They can't afford a higher payment. They just can't afford it. So when you start looking at our simple metrics, like a simple metric like rent to own metric, it's now cheaper for you to rent a property than to buy a property. That's not a good sign. It's a terrible, terrible sign. And here's what I wanted to talk about. So we are consistently seeing new home prices coming down. We're seeing new home prices drop in June. Now, this is on a national basis, so this is regional. Now, remember, Florida, Texas, and Arizona they're not going to be immune, but they're going to be muted compared to a lot of these places in the country. I mean, Arizona compared to Chicago or Seattle or Portland, there's not going to be any comparison. We're certainly things are going to explode to the downside in a lot of these places. That's what we're talking about, endangered cities. We've talked about this before. If you've got investments, remember our two rules. We want to make money and we don't want to lose money. That's the only thing we as investors are interested in. So here's the home builders. They're telling us that they're building out of their land banks and they've had prices drop 13.5%. Sales price, not amount of sales price dropped 13.5%. On top of that, they're doing whatever they can to get rid of this. They're doing buy downs. They're buying interest rates down from like 6.5 to 6. This costs them a fortune to do that. They're giving landscape packages. They're giving window treatments. They're giving appliance packages. So you can get a turnkey house. You can get all your landscape put in, all the window treatments put up, and get washer, dryer, refrigerator put in. And they're giving you buy down interest rates. And they're giving us in the real estate business more commission to bring people in to get these things sold. That's how scared they are. Go to my next sign. They're building like crazy, but they're not getting new permits. They're trying to build out what they've got. So this is just what's going to happen. Now I want you to look at this. So here it is. I just got this just a few days ago, and builders are selling off as fast as they can. The existing home sales have dropped to COVID levels. Home sales, not prices now. So the home sales are falling, which means that there's fewer and fewer people coming into the builders. This is going to get even worse as we go into September, October, November, December. You just watch. Things are going to get even worse than where they are. And the lenders are concerned that the land bank doesn't take them down. Because if they can't sell out of the land bank, they are going to have to continue to pay for this land that they're not using. And this is how they go bankrupt. And we're looking at existing homes, not builders, existing home pending sales nationally are starting to fall. This is going to accelerate to the downside. So here is a very, very important slide. So the median new home price versus the median existing home sales price are almost the same. Means that you can buy a brand new home with all the warranties, all the colors that you want, brand spanking new for almost the same price as what you can buy a home that might be 20 years old. With the roof's got to be replaced soon and the air conditioners. So brand new home, the builders are so excited to get rid of these properties. This only happened once before. That was in 2005. Remember what happened right after 2005? So do the builders. They know exactly what that means. So what does this mean for you? what does this mean for you? It means that, first off, you got to be careful. We have to be really, really careful. If you have any exposure to the builders, you might want to start talking to your financial people because they've been on a tear. I don't know how long this is going to last for them. To me, I'm going to think that, boy, if you're a builder, this is probably something that's probably pretty interesting, probably not going to last. And they're going to run out of marketing time. Our models are screaming red. So we are doing 1031 exchanges, which brings me back to you guys. If you have stuff in any of the endangered cities, Chicago, Portland, Seattle, certainly California, San Francisco, and Silicon Valley, Wisconsin, Minnesota, if you got these places, you could become a Baltimore and Detroit, where they've lost 80%. Now, you're an investor. If your investment is in risk, you need to get it to a better place. Florida, Texas, Arizona. Here in Arizona, we are just going like crazy. You know, we've got so much industry coming here. They have jobs; they're just exploding here. We just had the Taiwanese semiconductor plant that they quadrupled their original footprint. Now it's going to be a $50 billion plant. We've got 4,000 acres for a railroad and shipping complex that's going to be in. It's just bringing billions and billions in jobs, thousands and thousands of jobs coming here. So we have a decades-long trend here. Now we're going to have a correction in this decades-long trend. It's not going to be as bad as the rest of the country, but it's going to be a good place for you to come. Florida, Texas, too. So talk to us. We're more than happy to work. We'll put a program together and maybe do a 1031 exchange so we can exchange your properties out, limit your capital gains, because 1031 exchange is not a tax event, and let's get you into something that's very, very suitable for you. Remember, we have houses here. You can buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 to 1,800 square foot home for under $400,000. They're in great neighborhoods, great safe, good schools, great transportation. You can buy here in Arizona. You can get 1,800 square feet for $400,000 to get a 3-car garage. So this is just a great place for you to be. So let me just finish this up and let's just talk about where we're going here. So this is where you can reach me. I'm at West USA. I consult all the time. We're more than happy to have your business. I'd love to talk to you and your spouse and your financial advisors. And oh, by the way, if you like our videos, we could really use some help with YouTube. If you like them, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe. We're not going to try and sell you anything. So it just helps with the logarithms for YouTube. So if I can help in any way, you know where to reach me. My best. Bye-bye now.